everyone, Elora from the Shrinking Violet here. Today I am bringing you a super fun and tasty recipe just in time for Christmas, my absolutely incredible Christmas fruitcake. You know, every single year I always used to struggle with what to take for dessert, especially considering, you know, I don't eat gluten, dairy, grains, sugar, so this recipe was something that kind of was born out of a need to take something to Christmas. Everyone loves fruitcake and this one is no exception. It is largely consisting of dried fruit, so of course it is very much a treat recipe and something to share with your loved ones on Christmas. But it is super simple and probably only takes around 10-15 minutes to assemble, and then you just have to wait for it to cook. But to start off, we're going to start with 500 grams of roughly chopped dried fruit. So in here I have peaches, apples and apricots, but you can use whatever dried fruit you'd like. I have made it with dried pears, dates, prunes, lots of different things. So we're going to pop that into the saucepan. Make sure you get all the little bits out. Along with the 500 grams of dried fruit, you're also going to add another 200 grams of dried sultanas. So like I said, this is really heavy on dried fruit, but it is an occasion cake. To that, you're also going to add 1/4 cup of coconut sugar. Obviously, you don't really need to add too much more sweetener than that, but I just really like the flavour that lends to it. Once you've got that in, you're going to add 175 grams of coconut oil. Half a cup of water. You can also use orange juice here, but I've already got orange marmalade going into it, so I didn't really feel like there was a need to put anything other than water in. And then you're going to add 200 grams of orange marmalade. Now this brand here is called Saint Delphore. You can get it in both Australia and New Zealand, and it is the only one on the market that I have seen that is a marmalade with no added sugar, gluten-free, no extra preservatives or anything like that. So this is definitely the ideal brand to go for. Great. So now that you've got 200 grams of that in there, we're going to take this, put it on the stove, and we're going to simmer it over a medium-high heat for 8 to 10 minutes. Right, well, our dried fruit has now come off the element, so I simmered that on a medium to high heat for 8 to 10 minutes and then left it to cool for half an hour. Now, once that's done, you're just going to put it into a large glass bowl or another bowl, whatever you like to use, and add in 2 cups of ground almonds, as well as 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of ground ginger, and then just stir to combine. Great, once that's all completely combined, you're going to add 3 eggs. And just stir that until that is also completely combined. Now sometimes the mixture can be a little bit on the wet side, so if that is the case, just add in a little bit more of your ground almonds. Perfect. So now that that's done, I have a springform cake pan here, which I have lined the bottom of as well as greased the sides. I prefer to use a springform tin in this case, just so that it is a little bit easier to get out. Just evenly spread that into your cake tin. Now this cake doesn't really rise too much, so just make sure that you do get it nice and even on top, because what you see is what you're going to get. Great, and now into the oven to bake. This will bake for around 60 to 80 minutes on 150 degrees. It does need to be low and slow for this cake. Okay, so the Christmas cake is now finished baking. It is a beautiful deep golden colour. And yeah, now we're gonna cut it and serve it. It was in there for just over 80 minutes, so it really does depend on what kind of cake tin you have and how your oven's feeling that day. But yeah, so we're gonna cut this. It is a pretty soft cake, so it can get a little bit crumbly, especially with the chunks of dried fruit. But the result is a beautiful Christmas cake.